We continue welcoming Shabbat with the words of Lechu Neranana, which will shortly appear on the screen. We continue with Lechado D, which can be found on pages 20 and 21. We're going to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, because those are my favorites. And when we get to the 9th verse, we're going to rise and turn and face the entrance to welcome the Sabbath bride.
Lekha Face the entrance to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
Having greeted the Sabbath bride, we'll take a few moments to greet each other, turn to the people around you, wish them Shabbat Shalom. If you haven't met them yet, introduce yourselves. Shabbat Shalom. Mm-hmm. Shabbat Shalom, MJ.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Baruch Hu, page 28. We remain standing. We try to clean our house before Shabbat. We're very thankful to have a cleaning lady who helps. And somehow by like Saturday afternoon, my children have made it look as though the cleaning lady has not come. Something always explodes into the playroom. I am reading this amazing book of poetry by the Israeli poet Maya Tevet Dayan, and came across this poem where she reflects on the story of creation through the lens of being a parent, experiencing the kind of chaos that one experiences with when one is a parent. And the Torah, in last week's Torah portion, said that before God started creation, everything was tohu vavohu, was total chaos and unformed. When I was in high school, I wanted to put that on the door of my room. Don't come in, tohu vavohu. And so I want to share this poem with you, which I think is a beautiful reflection on creation and an appreciation for a different kind of creation. She writes, I skip above the landmines of my life, a pickle on the carpet, A piece of banana in the corner of the room, crumbs of chalk. The girl is at an age where she tosses everything. I have calculated 10 times an hour, 100 times a day, 2,800 times to bend down a month. And in objects, 15,000 items that need to be put back in place. I read once that lower back pain is caused by financial worries. That must have been written by a man. Just like the story of creation and the rest of the Torah. In my Bible, God rises from the sink in the evening when the kitchen is clean. Lavender and lemon-scented angels roll out the carpet of night beneath my legs, and a field of pure granite countertop awaits to be sown with the thoughts there was not time for until now. I vacuum up the leftovers of the big bang of the day. Creation takes place in the sound of methodic breathing from all the rooms. Nothing behind me, nothing in front of me. Even history is still distant in the future horizon of morning. Every evening, I am the first woman on the same red couch in the living room, created again in my old image. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We continue with Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
You may be seated, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
In the middle of page 39, we pray responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
Declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nation will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Page 40, Mi Chamocha. On page 42, we find the Hashkivenu prayer, our prayer for the nighttime. Our ancestors wrote this prayer because they were scared of the dark. And in this season where the days are getting shorter and the nights are getting longer, where we notice the sun setting earlier and earlier, we feel this sense of need maybe that our ancestors had that made them write this prayer, that asked for God to shelter them and hold them until the morning came again. We offer these words of hope and possibility, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Shalom, ve'hamidenu
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim l'chaim. May you shelter us in peace until the morning comes. May you lay us down with love, and may you raise us up. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim l'chaim.
We come now to the Amidah, which begins on page 46. We'll invite you to rise in body or spirit and invite Leighton up to lead us.
Okay. Adonai sifratai tifta ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor ve'Anora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher has'eavot ve'imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham, v'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah v'rak le'oshia. Meshiv haruach u'morid ha'gashem. Mechakel chayim b'chesed. Mechayei hakol b'rachamim ramim. So'omech noflim v'rachech ha'olim. Umatu asiri. Umekayei emunato lishenei afar mihamelcha bal kivurot umidon le'elach melech hamid umechayei umatzmiach Yeshua ben amanata lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, v'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Nicely done, thank you. You may be seated. This week's Torah portion is Parshat Noach, tells the story of Noah. The poet Yoni Hammer Kasoy has an entire book of poetry that is only about Noah. I don't know if this is part of a larger project he's doing to do all the parshiot. I don't look forward to reading his books on Leviticus. But I was flipping through it this week, and I found this really lovely, it's actually the last poem in the book, is a reflection on Noah's life. And what I love about the poems in the book is a real humanization of Noah, a real refocusing the story in terms of environmental preservation. And so I want to share with you this poem. It's called The Death of Noah. Noah died in his sleep 350 years after the flood at the ripe age of 950. Some websites helpfully point out that this was 2006 years after creation, about 3,800 years ago by their count. They say archaeologists found the outline of a boat on a mountain in eastern Turkey, proving Noah's existence. They say people lived longer back then because it was closer to the Garden of Eden, and there were fewer things like viruses and cancer. My wife tells me helpfully that Noah didn't die because he never lived. You know that, right? You know that the Torah is a moral guide, not a history book. Noah didn't die, but he didn't speak to me for weeks after getting wind of this, and I worried it would never be the same between us. Noah died when only one red rhinoceros showed up outside the ark. Noah gets teary-eyed when he tells me he never wanted to play the silent, obedient type, but God didn't give him much of a choice. Noah died when the water pulled back like a crumpled sheet, and the wind was bone bare and standing ankle deep in mud. He looked up at the rainbow, and God said, "Don't cry, everything will be all right." Noah didn't die, but cried when he tilled the land, and the grapevines he saved from before took root. Cried every time he drank, cried every time he cursed his silent, disobedient son. Noah says he didn't die, that he'll be there waiting when the animals come again. We offer this prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Neolam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Neolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Ki Atahu Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We take a few moments now for silent prayer. If you can't think of anything to say, make a list of 5 things you're grateful for today. I promise it'll change your life.
Yehiyu l'ratson im refi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Yehiyu l'ratson im refi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali
We offer now a prayer for Israel, holding in our hearts all those who continue to suffer during this tragic war, holding in our hearts the hostages and a hope for their speedy return home. We offer these words together. We gather together in faith and with hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel and all the peoples of the earth. Help us, O Holy One, and protect us in our hour of need. Touch our hearts, lest they harden with despair. Guide our thoughts, lest they are overcome with fear. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to those in mourning, courage to those in fear, wisdom to those who lead. Yedid Nefesh, beloved one, reveal yourself and fill the world with your light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Be quick, God of love, for the time has come. Have mercy upon us, eternal one of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, oseh hashalom. And now we turn our prayerful attention to those in our lives and community who are in need of healing and strength. We think of those whose pains and illnesses we see and know, and those whose pains we can never see and never know. Those who struggle with chronic pain and chronic illness, those who struggle with addiction and those who are in recovery. We send our prayers also to the caregivers who offer something of themselves each and every day in the search of something like refuah shlema, a return to wholeness. We're thinking this Shabbat of Ivan Berman, Marsha Block, Marty Block, Kathy Borden, Eva Breston, Marie Bryant, Melba Berman, Eileen Sirsansky, Kathy Chaco, Kathy Phillips Chellin, Robert Cohn, Stephanie Cousins, Kathy Ellinger, Benjamin Gibson, Elizabeth Ginsburg, Marcine S. Goldman, Emily Goodfriend, Joyce Goodman, Chuck Green, Jerry Halfant, Terry Hazelwood, Gustavo Hernandez, Robin Hodgkins, Christina Howard, Gil Kempernick, Simon Kim, Jody Lerner, Lawrence Levy, Betsy Lewis, Samuel Lewis, Linda Longnecker, Mary Madrigal, Andrew Merrick, Philip McAdam, Stuart Miller, Marilyn Nathan, Ron Nodler, Magdalene Pessin, Deborah Pesses, Max Pasternak-Rychek, Neil Reisman, Sidney Rogan, Edward Simmons, Bob Stein, Rana Train, Laura Winthrop, Margaret Winthrop, Yvonne Zients, Ariella Sharon Bat Yafa Shoshana, Gelka Nechama Bat Leib Achaya, Sarah Bat Yehuda Leib, Shimshon ben Fegel, Yehoshua Matityahu ben Yaakov V'prei V'chana, and all who are suffering with afflictions of body, mind, or spirit. We turn to these words of healing and hope, page 253. Couple of announcements this Shabbat. We hope you'll join us tomorrow morning, Saturday, November 2nd at 10:30 a.m. for our weekly chapel service, which will be followed by our monthly Shmooze and Schmear, complimentary bagel breakfast. No RSVP is required. Emmanuel Votes, our nonpartisan civic engagement campaign working towards 100% voter participation amongst our congregants, wants you to remember that early voting ended today. So if you've not yet voted, we hope that you will vote next Tuesday, November 5th. We exercise your right to vote. Emmanuel will be a polling place once again, and you can learn more about everything you need to know at emmanuelhouston.org/EEvotes. We want to encourage you not to forget to bring your photo ID. Sunday, November 10th at 12:30 p.m. Bring the family and join us for an all-ages volunteer opportunity. Leadership of Houston Coalition for the Homeless, Harris County, and Combined Arms will teach us a little bit about the unhoused population, including veterans in our community. We'll sort and pack first aid kits, snack kits, and cold weather items to help us achieve our goal of making 300 of each kit. Please look at our website for the necessary supplies. You can drop off your donations here at Temple through November 10th. And November 15th to 17th is a really exciting weekend. It is our next installment of Music at Emmanuel. We have an artist in residence, an incredible Jewish musician named Chava Mirel. You've heard lots of her music here at Shabbat, not tonight, but over the past many Shabbats. And Chava is incredible. We are so enjoying working with her to plan. She is going to be leading this 6 o'clock service. It will be beautiful. She will also be leading our Warehouse Shabbat service at 8 p.m. If you've never come to Warehouse Shabbat, it is for people of all ages. It is an incredible and unique experience, and this one is going to be even more special because of Chava's voice. That will be in the multi-purpose room at 8 with the doors opening for dessert and drinks at 7:30. She'll be leading our 10:30 a.m. chapel service the next day. She'll be leading a adult learning session at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday entitled Peace and Mindfulness in Our Ancient Tradition. So there are lots of opportunities to sing with Chava, to pray with Chava, to learn with Chava, and I hope that you will not miss it because it is going to be quite an incredible weekend. Breathe, little dove, Nama said as she stroked the feathers of the quivering bird in her hand. The storm had been traumatic for almost all the animals. In the first weeks of torrential rain, the cacophony on the ark of howls and screeches and screams was almost too much for Noah and his family to bear. But the birds had been particularly unnerved. nested in their perches, unable to fly freely as the rains poured down for 40 days and 40 nights. Naamah, Noah's wife, walked among the animal stalls every day to try and comfort them. Her name meant pleasantness, and she tried to be a calming presence, petting them and whispering reassuring words. When the rain stopped and the thunder and lightning ceased, some of the animals had calmed down considerably, but the birds still longed for freedom as the giant floating menagerie gently rocked and sailed the endless sea for months. Finally, the ark had come to rest on the top of a mountain. The swaying ceased, and the most seasick land animals calmed as they slowly regained their equilibrium. But still, the waters did not recede, and no one could leave the ark. They'd been trapped in the cramped quarters for more than 9 months. But Naamah had learned to calm all the animals, and they in turn had come to trust her pleasant, reassuring presence. But one female dove remained inconsolable. Every time Naamah picked her up, even though they were by now quite familiar to each other, the little white bird shook like a rattlesnake's tail. Naamah knew that the dove was desperate for flight. This is why she had suggested to her husband that the dove could scout for dry land. Noah had liked the idea. He usually liked Naamah's ideas. And so she petted the bird's head in the quiet of dawn before the dove's big day. And she held out a seed in her palm from her carefully guarded collection, an olive seed. "Don't swallow it," she said. "You may find only a very small patch of dry land, too small even for you to rest. But drop this seed there, and we shall see what grows." The tremoring bird picked up the seed from her palm. Then she brought the dove to Noah, who released her on her mission. A few days later, the bird returned empty-handed. Noah was disappointed. No dry land had been discovered. The seed was gone, and Naamah quietly wondered if the dove had swallowed it mid-flight. A year ago, Noah explained to his wife how God had come to him and told him about the flood. Naamah listened lovingly as Noah enthusiastically relayed the details of arks and measures of gopher wood and pairs of animals. It's not that she didn't believe him. She'd seen the behavior of her neighbors, though she had a hard time accepting that it had gotten as bad as Noah said. But who can argue with a husband who talks to God? And she was already thinking about how much work there was to be done. As Noah and his sons built their giant boat, board by board, cubit by cubit, Naamah and her daughters-in-law set about collecting supplies, drying meats and berries, preparing styes and perches. When the animals started to gather in pairs at the foot of the ark, Naamah had another idea. Why should animals and humans be the only living things they saved? So she started collecting seeds. From every plant she could find, acorns and apple seeds, pecans and pea pods, dandelions and daisies. She placed them in dry cloths and tied them tightly in bundles, sensing that she'd need them when the storm passed and the earth began to dry. She'd protected them all along the journey from curious squirrels and mischievous monkeys. Now she'd given away her first precious seed, and she didn't know how to feel, but the dove seemed calmer at least. A week later, Noah got it in his head to send the dove out again, and when she returned, this time with an olive branch clutched in her beak, Noah declared it a miracle. Naamah just smiled. Noah had a habit of declaring things a miracle that had actually required quite a bit of work and planning. He'd said the same thing about the relative cleanliness of the bottom floors of the ark. It was a few more weeks before the water receded enough to finally lower the ramp and let everyone off the ark. After more than a year on the boat, the animals made a triumphant parade. The horses gallivanted, the turtles trotted, and the mice scampered, and all the birds soared, most especially the doves. But the humans, exhausted to their bones, trudged down the ramp onto a desolate earth. The animals could not comprehend the scale of the destruction that they had so narrowly avoided, but the humans could. The earth was empty. Not only of people, there were no trees, no bushes, No grasses even. Not even a breeze passed over the earth. Just quiet stillness and mud. And so Naamah set about planting seeds. Tenderly and gently she untied each package. Lovingly she placed each seed into the earth. Once again, Noah had it relatively easy. He let the animals go and they took care of making more animals themselves. But Naamah's task took hard work and attention. Her seeds required water and care, cultivation and kindness, and most of all, they needed patience. Some seeds can live in the earth for years before something green emerges. Naamah taught this care and attention to her husband and her children and soon her grandchildren too. According to our tradition, it was Noah's family who first invented the cultivation of plants. Before the flood, the fields were unkept and untamed. Now they were nurtured and nourished. God saw all that Naamah had done, the ways she had cared so lovingly for the animals on the ark, the ways she had created the new art of sowing seeds, the ways she had brought verdancy and vibrancy and vitality back to the barren earth. And God wanted to give Naamah a gift of gratitude, but God had never given a gift before. God had doled out some consequences, but never presents. So God thought for a very long time. Then God settled on an idea that would become one of God's favorite gifts for the people God cares about most. God gave Naamah a new name. No longer will she be known only as Naamah, pleasantness, but now she will also be called Emzerah, mother of seeds. What do we do when the storm clouds gather? What will we do when the future seems uncertain? What will we do when the world around us seems unfamiliar and scary, when we don't know who to trust or who to believe? Do we build an ark, a place of safety for us and our families? Do we pull up the ramp and seal the door and pray that we can weather the storm? Or can we be like Emzerah and gather seeds? There's a difference between faith and hope. Faith is the belief that things will get better. Hope is the conviction that if we work hard enough together, we can make things better. With faith, we trust in God or in other people to fix what is broken. With hope, we roll up our sleeves to get to the long and difficult work of repair. Faith requires letting go, a willingness to let your ship be blown whichever direction the wind takes you. Hope takes holding on. It takes planning and perseverance, vision and courage. Noah had faith. That's why he built the ark. Naamah, Emzerah, had hope. Gathering seeds is an act of hope. That was her response to upheaval and uncertainty. She gathered the seeds of future possibility. She collected the kernels of wisdom that she could cultivate later when the storm settled. She had faith that the storm would settle, but she needed hope to gather seeds. Picture a seed in your hand and pretend that you'd never heard of seeds, never seen such a thing in your life. Would you be able to look at that tiny pebble and imagine that it could grow into a beautiful orchid or a towering redwood? Could you imagine it could make a sweet pear or a piercing needle of a cactus? Could you picture any of the endless possibilities contained in such a tiny, seemingly insignificant thing? And yet, every seed is also a plant. Every seed has the potential to make beauty and shade and the very air that we breathe. If we are patient, but not just patient, we have to be like Emzerah. We have to be persistent too. We cannot toss the seed on the ground and wish for the best. We have to dig the hole and place the seed inside and cover it and water it and guard it from pests. We cannot walk away from a seed if we want it to flourish. But the plant that grows from that seed may not bear fruit in our lifetime. Perhaps this is what Rabbi Tarfon means when he writes, "You are not responsible to complete the work, but nor are you free to abandon it." The seeds of possibility we plant today, the seeds of hope we sow today, they are promises we make to generations to come. On the eve of this election, as America decides what kind of country it will be, I see the storms on the horizon. Regardless of who wins this election, I feel the clouds in the sky darkening, and I have no idea how much rain they hold. Will the downpour be torrential? Will the waters rise? Will we be safe? Will our relationship with our neighbors ever be the same? So as I read the story of Noah this year, I'm lifting up Emzera, mother of seeds, matriarch of hope. What are the seeds we can gather now for a future of rebirth, a future of new growth, a future of vibrant life? Voting is one seed. Voting is a tiny thing. It can feel so small and insignificant. Will my vote among millions really make a difference? But like a seed, we cannot know what good will grow from our vote. It's a promise we make to the future we hope for, a better future for us and our children. What are the other seeds that you can gather in this moment? Seeds of hope for a future after the storm has subsided and the water has receded. What are the kernels of kindness and creativity and generosity that you hope to sow in the days and weeks and months to come? What do you need to do to protect those seeds, to keep them safe and dry in the rain? What are the resources you will need to plant those seeds and cultivate them? Who will you gather to work with you as you help those seeds to sprout and grow? In times of storm and struggle, let us remember that we are descendants of Emzera, the mother of seeds. We are the fruit of the promise planted long ago by our ancestors, and we are the farmers of a future we cannot yet see, but which we have seeded for our descendants. May God bless these seeds of hope, and through our effort and God's partnership, may they blossom and grow. Shabbat Shalom. We continue now with Aleinu L'Shabeach, which can be found in the middle of page 282. Please rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. We take a few moments now for silent memory. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Our hearts go out in sympathy to the family of Carol Ringgold, who was laid to rest in recent days. We also recall the art sites that fall at this season: Max Atlas, Irving Mayer Axelrod, Rose Axelrod, Jerry Baber, Joseph Barish, Belle Basson, Connie Bell Lanning Bath, David Henry Bell, Kelly Beretta, Adolph Bleeden, Finette Blum, Ethel C. Blumenthal, Eve Breyer, Harry Brooks, Doris Coleman, Ruth Curl, Charles Cypress, Robbie Lynn Daly, Sidney Dettel, Sidney David Diamond, Harry Edison, Rebecca Engel, Sonia Felsen Travis, Harry Fradkin, Ida Lerner Frank, Anne Freed, Eugene Friedman, Nancy Friedman, Steve Frogel, Ellen First, Fanny Gandler, Yolanda I. Goldenberg, Sadie Rose Goldstein, Louis Goldstein, Morris Grevsky, John Grossman, Marvin Gutman, Eva Marie Pfeiffer Haufrecht, George Hittner, Rosalind Eldridge Horowitz, Barbara Browston Kalish, Bertha Grevsky Kaplan, Alfred Karchmer, Natalie Keene, Shirley Ruth Klar, Ellen Kamen Kleiman, Marcus Collar, Dennis Kraus, Nathan David Kroll, Janie Levin, Max Levy, Martin Levy, Sandra Rance Lucky, Robert Maidenberg, Jeffrey Maidenberg, Paulette Markman, Josephine Ann Alessandro Marks, Melvin Medwick, Genevieva Mendoza, David W. Miller, Elizabeth Moser, Carl Orsek, Charlotte Kame Oshman, Rosalie Pasaya, Joseph Pellenberg, Gerald Neal Plost, Michael Podolsky, Ernest Priceman, Claire Reisner, Dorothy Rance, Samuel Reisenberg, Malka Robbins, Sam Robinson, Aaron Rosenzweig, Sidney D. Rothstein, Otto Schlamy, Mildred Schaff, Morris Shaynock, Milton P. Siegel, Constance Simon, Jerry Spencer, Lillian Stern, Hi Stoller, Hilda Doris Warner, Lena G. Wax, Dora Weiss, Robert Isaac Wilkenfeld, Eugene Wilkenfeld, Claire Wolowski, Janie Yonette, Ralph Neft Zabarenko, and Deborah Friedman Zisman. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. We turn to page 294 and rise together in body or spirit for the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yurtei v'al michma chutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam umea maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithale v'yithalal shmei dikud shabrichu, Leila mim kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'ne'emata, ta'amiran be'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
You may be seated as we move from Kaddish to Kiddush, and we invite up Leighton and her sister Adrian to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
You can take a sip. Maybe don't take a sip. And Hamotzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Take some challah. You can take some back to your family. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Take the whole thing.
Yeah.
Share it with those people. Yeah. We conclude our service this Shabbat with another prayer for peace, the words of Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, which will appear up there.
Feel free to clap along. I know we have some clappers here, so. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom, shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. Back to the top. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Please rise for our closing benediction. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imutenu, our God and God of our ancestors, creator of heaven and earth, God who helps us find meaning even in the chaos, God who helps us to care for this earth and for each other, God who helps us to find our hope and plant it so that it may grow and blossom and spread and propagate. We thank you for the many blessings in our lives, the blessings we notice and the ones that pass us by. And we say together, Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.